Hall of Famer hero, and also the legendary Shane Hurricane Helms. Hurricane, how are you today?
I'm doing good, man. I hope my my Wi-Fi connection is better for you this time. Shit drove me crazy the other day, man.
Well, yes, it is better. We can say
it tested my patience. And I don't know if you know this, but
you looked so calm and cool and collected on the show.
Oh no, my patience was at its end, and that's actually why I had to quit medical school. I don't know if you know that. I just didn't have the patience.
Oh, medical school, no patience. I get you.
David, how are you in the Milwaukee? You guys are opening up. I saw the casinos opening, the bars. And
whoa. Pump the brakes. The casinos are opening next week, and right now they're saying we can 25% of capacity. So, yeah, it's slowly opening. So it should be a very interesting weekend here in the brew city, in the beer city.
How are you going to mess this all up?
Me?
Yes.
Listen, I am not. Listen, I'll wait till next weekend to mess it up. I'll let all the rookies do it first, and then I'll show up and show them how it's done.
How about North Carolina, Shane? You guys opening back up down there
yet? We never really shut down as strictly as we. My family, we were in the house. You know, I play chess. I send opponents out first. Until I know it's safe, me and the Helms clan, we're going to stay right here.
Fair enough. Well, let's get down to it, folks. And as you know, in this show, it is fantasy booking. So what we do is we take the card as it has been booked by the organization, the wrestling organization, and then we take 3 different perspectives on how that card should be booked, could be booked, but actually will be booked. And then we compare notes after it's all said and done to see who was closest to right. Now, I am just the fan's perspective. Dave takes the booker's perspective, and Shane takes both, well, the performer's perspective and also the most knowledgeable of the 3 of us as far as the inner workings of these companies. And this company we're talking about today is NXT. It is in your house, Takeover in your house. From Orlando, Florida at the WWE Performance Center. Only 6 matchups on this card. So we're going to go over each by each. And then we're going to, as I said before, to discuss how and why, that's the important part, why these matches would be booked the way they would be booked by both Shane and Dave. So you guys ready?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Excellent. Well, let's start with what will be a 6-woman tag team matchup. And I will attempt to get these names as best as I can, starting with Maya Yim going up against Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Knox. I'm sorry, those will be a team. Maya Yim, Shotzi Blackheart, and Tegan Knox versus Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, and Raquel Gonzalez. So this is a 6-woman tag team match, 3 women on each side of the ring. Shane, how would you book this contest?
I don't think it'll hurt either team to lose as long as, I would book this match making sure that we highlight specific talents. You know, sometimes in a 6-person match, it is hard to highlight everybody. I would look to see the babyface team being Mia Yim, Shotzi. I would look to see them winning this. But at the same time, I like what Raquel's been doing lately. She's to me, she's improved a lot. So if we're going to go on the heel side, I'd like to see Raquel come do some domination there, because we're going to have to start building up a contendership here for the NXT Women's Division.
So the team of Candice, Dakota Kai, and Raquel Gonzalez is your pick?
No. I'm going with the baby faces. Maya Yim, Mia Yim.
Blackheart, and
especially since I gave her that finisher.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, there you have it. Dave Hero, what about you in this matchup? 6 women in the ring at once.
All 6 of these ladies need, like Shane said, need to get into contendership for the NXT Women's Championship. Shotzi Blackheart has been getting just a ton of TV time. They've invested in her with the promos and the tanks and everything. They obviously see something really special in her. But Candice LeRae, you almost have to wonder, she needs to step it up, her team, to that next level to be those villainous, dastardly heels. Of course, the wife of Johnny Gargano. I'm gonna go opposite of Shane. I'm actually gonna go with the Bad Girls, the Bad Girls Club. I'm gonna go with the team captained by Candice LeRae. I just think right now they need to build up some strong heels, because going into the women's match later on in the evening, they're gonna need some new, fresh #1 contenders.
All right. Well, split in our first matchup in this 6-women tag team matchup. Shane would book it to have Maya Yim's team win, and Dave would have the team led by Candice LeRae get the victory. We'll see what happens actually an NXT Takeover in your house. Next matchup we're going to talk about is a singles matchup. It's Tommaso Ciampa going up against Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross, of course, will have Scarlett with him. This is a singles matchup. We've seen a lot out of both Ciampa and also Karrion Kross, but they two go head-to-head on Sunday at NXT TakeOver in your house. Dave, how would you fantasy book this match?
Well, it really comes down to how much more time do you think you have with Tommaso Ciampa? I mean, is he ready to take a lesser schedule? Because I wish this wasn't their first time, their first matchup. I wish it was match number 2 or 3, because this match has to be a passing of the torch. It has to be, okay, Ciampa has been the gold standard, I guess you could say, for NXT. He's been like the guy that they've built the gold and the black and gold band around. But I really think Karrion Kross, his time is right now. I really believe that he needs to beat Tommaso Ciampa, and he has to beat him convincingly. Otherwise, if you can only beat just the enhancement guys easily, okay, he struggles against the top of the card. But Karrion Kross has to be made at In Your House. He has to get over. He has to win strong. And for me, it's almost going to be like Clubber Lang against Rocky, except Rocky won't get a rematch.
You use that a lot.
Because it's one of the greatest stories of all time. It's the bruising brute that gets the guy that's towards the end of his not that Ciampa's towards the end of his career, but he has a lot of miles on that body, and it's just the point where it's time to pass the torch, and Karrion Kross is the guy. He has all the tools.
All right, Dave going with Karrion Kross would book him to win that matchup. Shane, what do you say, Ciampa and Kross? How would you book it?
I remember last week there was a particular match where we both agreed that we wouldn't have even booked this match. This, I think, 2 weeks in a row is a match that I know how WWE likes to do things. They like to bring somebody in and push them to the moon right away. There's no climbing of the ladder that much anymore. I mean, I know he's beat a couple what we would consider enhancement guys, but he's right away thrown into the deep end with Tommaso Ciampa. So historically, WWE booking and a lot of pro wrestling booking leads me to think that Karrion Kross is going to get the win here. So that's what I'm going with. But it would be interesting to do something different, because it wouldn't hurt him to lose against somebody like Tommaso Ciampa. It wouldn't hurt. I know they kind of shy away from non-finishes in NXT. Do we even need a finish? Can something happen here that can lead to a second match? If you're going to have a non-finish in this match on this pay-per-view, this might be the match I would do it in. I don't want either one of these guys to lose. I don't know what Tommaso's health-wise is. I mean, how his body is. I know we talk about his schedule. His schedule is incredibly light, super light. The NXT guys, especially, they've never had the schedule that the main roster had, especially not like what I had back in my day, and I don't want to be back in my. He has been banged up. If he's on his way out, then go out on your shield and put Tommaso over. Put Karrion Kross over.
Shane, don't you think that they can use to their advantage the history of all the injuries to Tommaso Ciampa? Where he's the battered warrior, and that's how just the young stud comes in and takes care of business.
Yeah. I mean, it could be incredibly decisive. I understand that storytelling. I love to mention Godzilla. If the first time you see Godzilla on a big stage, he gets his ass smacked down, kind of loses the effect of Godzilla. So if we're building this killer in Cross, pun intended,
Who did Brock Lesnar beat for
then
his
he
first
has
title?
to win in big fashion here.
Who did Brock Lesnar beat for his first UFC title, Shane?
Oh, for his first UFC, Randy Couture.
Yeah. See, and that's the similarity I'm drawing right there.
Okay.
Whereas, you know what I'm saying? Where Killer Cross is Brock Lesnar and Ciampa is Randy Couture. But you know that's how I would do it, because it's a way of also at the same time protecting Ciampa. Say, hey, he's the old grizzled vet that just couldn't couldn't keep up.
I love how he's this old. I love how he's this old grizzled vet, and he's only really been there a couple of years.
Right. But I'm saying,
you know what I mean? Even when I think of Tommaso, I think of I think what you're saying, the flag bearer of NXT. He's been there for 20 years fighting the ups and downs, but it really hasn't been that long, I don't think. Has it?
No, it hasn't. But everywhere he's wrestled, it's always been that 110 mile per hour style.
Mm-hmm.
So it may be 10 years, but he's got 25 years worth of bumps on that card already.
Yeah.
You know, Tommaso from Milwaukee, where we're from, Dave, as well. And when NXT was in Milwaukee, we had the chance to have some conversations with Ciampa, and everything he said about the miles on his body and the schedule, and it's a real thing.
Yeah, the shit ain't for everybody. It's hard on the body for any new viewers.
So it sounds like, Shane, you're saying that all things considered, if you were the man making the booking, you would book for Ciampa to win, actually.
No, Karrion Kross.
Karrion Kross. But you think that it would be interesting if they did let Ciampa win?
I think only because it kind of breaks the formula.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. Sometimes I kind of go, man, we do this all the time. But sometimes, but things that we do all the time, we do them because they work a majority of the time. You know what I mean?
So this one
on a pay-per-view, the big pay-per-view, he's got to get the win, I think.
So this one almost has an asterisk. Dave is saying he would book and does think that Karrion Kross is going to win, but you're saying you would book Ciampa, but you think Karrion Kross is actually going to be booked to win.
I just think it would be interesting. I don't know if I was
are you running for political office, Shane?
booking it, I would still book Karrion. Say again?
Are you running?
No, I'm trying to think outside the box, because what fans hate the most is the formula. When I hear complaints about fans all the time is the formulaic, we know this guy's going to win, that sort of thing. So sometimes you can't be afraid to try to go outside of that. So, I mean, that's just where, but I would want to know long-term plans.
Yeah.
See, I don't know long-term plans. I don't know Tommaso's hell, but as hearing talking about this for the very first time, and even think about it for the very first time, that is the way my brain thinks. I like to look at all avenues instead of going, well, we've always done it this way, so let's do it this way.
Fair enough. All right. Well, thank you for that. Next match is another singles matchup, and this pits the endorsed Finn Balor one-on-one with Damian Priest. Damian spelled the evil way. David, what would you do? How would you book this match?
Oof. This is such
you hate Finn Balor, so it's okay.
No. It's just such an interesting match because you almost forgot Finn Balor is still in NXT.
No, they didn't. No one forgot. So, Shane, here's the backstory on this. Dave has always hated Finn Balor since he was billed at being 195 pounds or whatever it may have been. So, ever since then, Finn Balor is a child amongst giants. He doesn't belong there. He's never going to win, never going to get the big win, never going to get the big match. And now every chance Dave gets, he puts Finn Balor in a category lesser than everybody else.
First of all, has he won the big match yet?
He's the lead star. He's the top star in NXT.
Okay, but has he won but besides beating Seth Rollins and giving up the belt the next night, has he won the big match yet? He has not. I know Finn Balor is an amazing talent, and I know that this match will probably be way better than what I think it's going to be. But for me, I don't see it. I don't understand what they're trying to do with it. I mean, they need to get Finn Balor to be the top guy in NXT, put that belt back on him. Because if he's just there to get the Archer over, oof, you know what I mean? It's like Finn Balor needs to step up his game. He's got to do something special. He's got to recreate the magic he had 2 or 3 years ago, back when he was the NXT champion. But right now, this match looks like it could just be uneventful for me, unless Finn Balor completely turns it up a notch. And he's the linchpin in this entire match. The match goes as good as Finn Balor goes. But God, I don't know, because I could care less who wins in this match.
Wow.
But for me, if it's my promotion, I am definitely going to have Finn Balor win and go forward, because I think that there's a Finn Balor match either against Adam Cole or Velveteen Dream in the very near future.
All right, Dave would book Finn Balor over Damian Priest. Shane Helms, this matchup, a singles match at NXT Takeover in your house. How would you book it? Finn Balor versus Damian Priest.
I'd have Finn Balor come out as the Demon and whoop Damian Priest's ass. I think NXT needs something. You got to capitalize on it. Like Dave said, like Finn Balor is one of their biggest stars. I don't know if he's the biggest, but he's definitely one of the biggest. But it does feel like a little bit of the steam is gone right now. We got to find a way to get it back. I don't really understand. They really haven't explained, and this might be on Finn too. If you're going to start doing something like the Demon, the question is, why don't you just do it all the time? If that's the most powerful version of yourself, why don't you just do that shit all the time? What's the story? And why are you going to come to the ring half-assed? I mean, if you're weaker as Finn Balor than you are as the Demon, then you're half-assing it. I need to understand this. I don't understand that shit. But that being said, I'm more excited when he's the Demon, even though I love his wrestling and I love David, all that. He's a great talent. I'd bring out the Demon. They're going to have an opportunity, here to do something. They can do something crazy. I know we got the backlot brawl going on later on, but maybe this is the match where we can add a little supernatural effect or something like that and have some fun with it, and that's what I would do. The Demon, Finn Balor. I have the Finn Balor going over in this one.
All right, Balor, and I would pick that too, because Finn Balor is tremendous. But next matchup we're going to talk about, folks, is a triple threat match, and this one's for the NXT Women's Championship. Charlotte will be defending against Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai. Shirai. Three-way match, triple threat, NXT Women's Championship. There are some saying Charlotte's star might be falling a little bit, and she appears vulnerable in this championship matchup. But Shane, how would you book this triple threat for the NXT Women's Championship?
It's interesting, this one's a hard pick. They brought Charlotte to NXT for a reason, though. And I don't know exactly what that reason is. I mean, off the cuff, I'm thinking NXT needs more star power on that Wednesday night, Wednesday, and Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. I still feel that Charlotte is she's the one you keep that championship on. I still feel that, so I'm gonna look to see Charlotte retaining here. I don't know if I made any fucking sense there whatsoever. I'm going with Charlotte.
We could see you trying to get there. This is another one of those matchups where it seems difficult to book.
Yeah, and sometimes that's a good thing. When either person could be the champion, that's the best of things. What you don't want, I can see Io Shirai, I can see Rhea Ripley, and maybe because the story has been a little bit more focused on Rhea and Charlotte, maybe that's when Shirai sneaks in and steals the win. I could easily see that happening, and that might even be what happens. But I I feel like, I mean, if Charlotte just loses this NXT championship and then just goes back to Raw or SmackDown and doesn't come back, that seems odd to me. I would like to see this run continue with a little bit more domination. But that being said, Raw did just lose Becky Lynch. So maybe they want Charlotte Flair back in that Raw picture. And to do that, maybe she needs to lose that NXT championship. So that being said, I'm switching my pick.
There we go.
And I think it goes, I think you put it back on Rhea Ripley. How about that? I'm switching it up. I just talked myself out of some shit.
You sure did. Shane goes with he would book Rhea Ripley for all the reasons said. Dave Hero, who of the three in that triple threat matchup walks out the women's champion?
For me, I think that they have completely fumbled the entire Charlotte Flair NXT experience because she hasn't been winning matches. She's not being the queen. I mean, she's losing to Bayley on SmackDown, losing to Asuka and everybody else on Raw, and she's not being dominated. She's not being – she was given the NXT Women's Championship to completely elevate it, but it's only been elevated because her name is on it, not because of what she's done with it. It has, but it hasn't, because since she hasn't been winning, whoever beats her will beat a champion that's not winning. And Rhea Ripley and Charlotte, I think, is going to be money for a long time. I look at that as possibly being like the John Cena, Randy Orton feud for years going forward, because they're both so similar. They're both so good. They're both similar, but yet very different. But I think that Shirai is going to come out and just roll up somebody and get the win. I think that Charlotte and Rhea are going to be so busy beating each other up.
Is she going to Jericho this?
Absolutely.
She's going to. You saying she's going to Jericho it? She's going to beat Austin and Rock at the same night.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. And you know what? And I think that's what the fans want to see also. Rhea Ripley's already over. Charlotte Flair, I mean, already she has to be a first ballot Hall of Famer by what she's done in her first few years. But you need to elevate Shirai. And that's why I say the heels have to go over in that 6-woman match, because you got to find some more heels to now go after her. Because I think that Rhea and Charlotte are going to be going to Raw together and continue that feud.
All right. Well, Dave would book Shirai to win that matchup and then walk out new champion. It's interesting the comments you both make about Charlotte Flair. I've long been a fan of Charlotte. I think her in-ring talents and her presence are just absolutely amazing. But there's been a lot of fan sentiment as of late, or a lot of lack of appreciation, I think, as of late by a lot of fans for those same things with Charlotte. And maybe it is the vulnerability that she's showing right now by not winning every match is maybe getting the fans back invested into the believability, I guess, of Charlotte's chances in any match.
I just think that NXT needs help against AEW. And when their top woman, the women's champion, can't beat the talent on Raw, can't beat the talent on SmackDown, well, that means that she's still part of the quote-unquote C show. She can't beat the A and B talent. And I think that's where they made the mistake, because they didn't make Charlotte Flair equal or better than the Raw and SmackDown talents.
What do you say, Shane?
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that. When I saw Charlotte lose to Bayley, I was going, man, why would they do that? Like a person to do that, the person perfect to do that with, I should say. So that was very odd. I see where Dave's coming from 100%. But I don't know if they would take both of them right now, maybe. Because, I know what I heard in those meetings, and I know what I see with my own eyes. Rhea Ripley is a big star, and that star is only going to shine brighter. So it is well within the realm of possibility that she's going to move up quickly. So,
well, you both,
I can see that happening.
You you both agree that Charlotte does not walk out Sunday after NXT Takeover, still the champion. We'll see what happens in the real world when this show happens Sunday on the WWE Network. 2 more matches to talk about. Both are for championships. The first is a singles match. It is for the NXT North American Championship, and it's going to be Keith Lee defending that championship against Johnny Gargano. And Dave, tell us how you would book this matchup, and please, nothing about the size of Gargano compared to Lee.
Well, but that's the main thing about the entire match is the size difference. I mean, it's almost like Daniel Bryan against Mark Henry, but Daniel Bryan beat Mark Henry, which then makes me think, well, maybe Johnny Gargano needs to beat Keith Lee, because then Keith Lee can then chase Johnny Gargano. When I first saw this match, I'm like, there's no way Gargano can beat Keith Lee. There's just no way. Just on paper, physically, not a chance. But then it's like, you got to think, what has, besides Royal Rumble and his time in the ring with Brock Lesnar, Keith Lee hasn't really stood out on the NXT brand as the North American champion. There hasn't been that moment where it's like, oh, good God almighty, that was fantastic. So maybe you let Johnny Gargano go over and defeat Big Keith Lee and hope that he gets a newfound fire, or quote-unquote eye of the tiger, to get remotivated to do something special to create that oh my God moment. So I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I think that for good business is Johnny Gargano defeating Big Keith Lee.
Really?
And becoming the new North American champion.
All right, Gargano for Heroes booking process. Shane, what do you say?
I see Keith Lee coming out with a big win here. I think Gargano does his business. I don't see any reason really right now to derail Keith Lee at all. If he hasn't had that big of a moment in NXT, then I think we keep building to him. He has, even bigger than the Rumble spot with Brock, his moment in the Survivor Series, a match of which I was an agent for. His Survivor.
Well, I mean, but Keith Lee could drop the belt.
This final minutes with Roman Reigns were huge. Huh?
I mean, Keith Lee could drop the belt to Gargano, then win it back on NXT on a Wednesday night, which would be a huge ratings boost and bump for them against AEW.
Maybe, but I would keep the Keith Lee train rolling.
All right.
We got to build the stars. We got to keep the momentum rolling. The 50-50 booking, which is, we know they love to do it. So Dave, without a doubt, you could be right here. But I would run with Keith Lee. I would run till his legs fall off.
So Keith Lee retains coming out of NXT TakeOver, according to Shane, and Dave would say that Johnny Gargano would get the win for the
and that pains me to say, because Keith Lee is on my draft team, just so you know. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting match. That match, I am very interested to see how they're going to put it together.
Well, the next match, the final match, is a main event matchup for the NXT Championship. It is a last chance backlot brawl. We talked a little bit about this on Thursday night's edition of Primetime, but we're going to talk about it much more here. Keep in mind, if the challenger loses the match, and that challenger is Velveteen Dream, he can no longer challenge for the championship while Adam Cole, his opponent, is still champion. So what are the rules that end up taking Tony out of the championship ranks in AEW? Well, it will happen in a last chance backlot brawl. Adam Cole defending against Velveteen Dream. Shane Helms, what would you do in this match?
Now, that stipulation doesn't mean that Velveteen can never challenge for that championship ever again. It just means he can't challenge for it while Adam Cole is the champion.
Right. Yes.
That's the storyline I would run with. I would have Adam Cole win. Velveteen is just frustrated. What if after that, now he's trying to help everybody? Everybody that challenges Adam Cole now is going to have Velveteen Dream in their corner trying to help him somehow, because he wants that belt off Adam Cole. Mm-hmm. It doesn't care who it is. He's trying everything from my head. I like both of these guys. It wouldn't hurt my feelings at all to see Velveteen Dream come out with the championship, but I would keep Adam. I would keep the Adam Cole thing running too, because I don't think see him going up to the main roster. I think they're going to keep him down in NXT. What the hell do I know? But
a lot more than us.
I would keep him being chanted out loud. I'm really excited about what could happen if they did that story. Now Adam Cole's the champion, but he knows every challenger, he's got to be looking over his shoulder, because Velveteen Dream is doing everything possible to get that championship off Adam Cole. It doesn't care who it goes on.
Yeah.
Because whoever it goes on, now he can challenge it again. So that's what I'm going with, my silly ass storyline that I thought of right here.
Fair. David Hero, what do you say?
I'm going to go the opposite route. I think now is the time for Velveteen Dream to finally get his revenge on the Undisputed Era. And he's finally getting it at the guy that runs the entire show. And he will defeat Adam Cole. Like I said, I fully expect that the Undisputed Era to be involved in the match. I fully expect to see Dexter Lumis involved in the match. Velveteen Dream's been off TV for so long, it's almost like when Sting was gone, and then they bring him back. It's like he needs this win. I think it just sends a message that now is the time. It's Velveteen Dream, and then let the whole Undisputed Era, chase after him. But I honestly believe Velveteen Dream leaves the new NXT Heavyweight Champion.
All right, well, let's look at it from a perspective of how the show would be top to bottom with both of your booking methods. And first, we'll start with your method, David Hero. So you would say, coming out of NXT, we would see the team led by Candice LeRae, including Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez, winning in that 6-woman tag team matchup. Killer Cross getting the win as well. Also, Finn Balor getting the win over Damian Priest. You also would see Io Shirai come out as the new NXT Women's Champion. Johnny Gargano coming out as the new NXT North American Champion. And Velveteen Dream also coming out the new NXT Champion. So you got every title changing hands, Dave, on your version of the show. And that is interesting. Would be newsworthy if that were indeed to happen. If we look at it Shane's way, the Hurricane way, if you will. Maya Yim and her team win in that 6-women tag team matchup. Karrion Kross getting the win over Tommaso Ciampa. Finn Balor, the demon version of Finn Balor, getting the win over Damian Priest. Rhea Ripley coming out new NXT Women's Champion. But both Keith Lee and Adam Cole retaining their championships. But interesting story for both afterwards that you presented with the reasoning for it. Which show, and from my opinion, is more exciting is the question. Well, they both are. Because what's so great about the NXT show is you always get such tremendous bell-to-bell action. It's less about the story. It's more about the story, but it's less about promos. It's less about backstage. It's more about what happens in the ring. There's no doubt we're going to see that in your house again on Sunday. But two very different shows booked by two similar but very different minds. Gentlemen, either of you want to make an edit to your pay-per-view broadcast before we go off the air?
No, I'm good with mine. I like it.
I'm sticking with mine. Yeah, I'm sticking with mine too.
All right.
So Shane and I only have 3 different matches. Is what it comes down to. Out of the 6,
women, the NXT Women's Championship, and then no, you got 4 different.
No, it should be.
Oh wait, who does Shane pick for the girls' title match?
Maya Yim's team.
No.
Well, title.
Rhea
Ripley.
Oh. Yep. Okay, yeah. Wow. What?
Well, we will be keeping score, folks, and we will be revisiting this, and we actually want you to participate. We have heard now how David Hero would book the show. We have heard how Hurricane Helms would book the show. I've given you my opinion, but guess what? Right here, as you're watching this show after SmackDown on a Friday night, go ahead and tell us how you would book the show and why. You can do so in the comments right here on our YouTube page or on our Facebook page. And in fact, do so on Twitter. Shane loves to respond, as does Dave, to your tweets on Twitter. Send them what you think and why, or ask more about why they think that these championships will change hand and the show will go as it goes. This is a very interactive forum. And as you even see in the connectivity here between Shane and Dave, they sometimes in what they say changes the direction of the other for what they may do to book the show. So use your fantasy booking skills as well. Join us along in the fun. And we like to look back and say who was not right and wrong, but who was better and who wasn't so good at booking what WWE and NXT had decided or will decide to present to us on Sunday. So thank you very much for joining us here for this bonus episode of the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime. If you didn't already, last night we were live all over Fight TV and our social media channels. Talked a lot about NXT, talked a lot about AEW. Make sure to check that out as well. And then tomorrow night, David, you and I, and the PWR team, the rest of the broadcast team, will be airing 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with the Super Show. We've got an hour and a half budgeted this week, David Hero. Fight TV has given us extra time, given us an extra 30 minutes, and we are going to have the superest of super shows tomorrow night on Fight TV.
90 minutes of goodness? Well, my goodness. I don't know about your content.
Hey, you know what? You dress comfortably, and Shane always dresses comfortably here as well. So going longer may not hurt you guys, but what if I did want to dress like you? How do I do that?
Oh, there's only one place you have to go, and that is you go to collarandelbowbrand.com. It's super easy. You go there, use the promo code PWR360, save, check out the shirts. There's a whole bunch of Hurricane Helms t-shirts there. You have the Collar X as the Dr. X shirt and so much more great good stuff at collarandelbowbrand.com.
And Shane, does your headband always match the shirt?
I got quite a few of them, so I try. I try.
You're supposed to be wearing that as a man.
I got some. I got my yellow one right here. It was, I started wearing these when I used to have the green hair, and WWE made us do the business casual dress code. So I would have to dress business casual, but I still had green hair like a jackass. So I would wear a black do-rag that came with my motorcycle helmet, that came with my Harley Davidson motorcycle helmet. So that's where it came from. That was why I started wearing the do-rag. And then when I had the big heel turn, It was just a good look, or at least in my mind, it was a good look.
You know what? I love the braids. That was the best look you ever had, just so you know.
The braids look good when I had the mask on. When I had the mask and I had the little braids, it kind of had a Predator type thing. Predator, the movie, not Predator, the other thing. It looked cool. I just want to make that clear. You know what I'm saying?
Epstein never had braids.
It looked cool in the mask, but then when True. So it looked cool in the mask, but then in everyday life, at 35, 38 years old, I look like just an older guy who just found rap music for the first time. And it didn't really, it wasn't like, I needed to cut.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. Great show, great discussion. NXT Takeover in your house Sunday. Let's see how it goes. Remember, we want to hear your fantasy booking. We want you to share your comments, your thoughts right here in the comments for this video, especially on YouTube. We're going to look at those, and we're going to incorporate those when we review how good these picks did or did not go compared to the show. So, Shane, thank you very much for joining us here for this bonus episode. David, thank you for joining us for this bonus episode as well. We'll see you all again tomorrow for PWR Primetime, the Super Show, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Fight TV.